As we inch closer to the 2024 Oscars, the battle for award season gold is really heating up. So today we are counting down this year's predictions for the biggest categories. So to kick things off, let's talk about Barbenheimer, the new word describing the release of two big budget blockbusters that open on the same day and made Hollywood history by unexpectedly breaking records at the box office and winning big love from audiences and critics. The movies are both up for Best Picture, even though they could not be more different. Oppenheimer has 13 nominations, and of course it's a drama about nuclear fission. Meanwhile, Barbie has 8 nominations, and it's a comedy about nuclear feminism. So which one of them will be taking home the award? It's no secret that the Oscars tends to shy away from comedies, so that gives Christopher Nolan's biopic the edge over Greta Gerwig's project. But then again, it's difficult to overlook just how big Barbie turned out to be. Ryan Gosling's work on the movie was especially praised. In fact, his power ballad I'm Just Ken earned a 2024 Grammy nomination in the category for Best Song Written for Visual Media. And it seemed the only person who was actually shocked that that happened was Ryan Gosling himself. Yes, the song was meant to be a joke, but it actually cracked the Billboard Hot 100 list and it broke the internet. The Barbie soundtrack received a whole lot of love from the Recording Academy because it got 11 nominations for this year's ceremony. Now onto a new category, Best Actor in a Leading Role. The nominees are Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Colman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. In my opinion, this one is kind of obvious. First of all, Bradley Cooper's Maestro was clearly just Oscar bait, so I don't really think he's going to win anything. I mean, I can't think of anyone I know who went to see that movie, and it seems like they just made it for award season and that's it. No, I do think the winner here is going to be Cillian Murphy for what was a legendary performance. His total immersion into the body of J. Robert Oppenheimer was incredible. Nothing in his previous work prepares you for this role. Nothing except for the 6 seasons where he played the gangster Tommy Shelby on Peaky Blinders. All the fans he has from that show were just dying to see him finally get recognized for the brilliant actor that he really is. Now for Best Actress in a Leading Role. The nominees are Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. This is a difficult one because I think there are 2 actresses who could potentially tie: Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone. A tie is rare, but it's not impossible, since back in 1969, Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn did just that. Emma Stone gave the role her all as a revived corpse with a baby's brain. On the other hand, Lily Gladstone takes the quiet route, nailing every nuance as a bride who fears her husband wants to take her life for oil money. But if I was pushed to name just one, I would have to go with Lily, since she would make history as the first Native American woman to win the Oscar for Best Actress. For Best Actor in a Supporting Role, we have Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. So again, it's tough to win an Oscar for a comedy, but it's easier when a serious actor goes for laughs. Ryan Gosling absolutely killed it playing a Ken doll who wants his life to be more than beach. Never before has an actor brought such complexity and commitment to a literal hunk of plastic. He's going to be pretty tough to beat, so the only person who could potentially do it is Robert Downey Jr. The fact that he played Iron Man for the past 10 years might make you forget that he's actually one of the best actors on the planet. In Oppenheimer, he's almost unrecognizable as Lewis Strauss, and you know how much the Academy loves a physical transformation. Not only that, but it would be his first ever Oscar, which feels long overdue. I mean, please give this man an award already. Okay, on to Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Nyad, and Davine Joy Randall for The Holdovers. The person who should win, in my opinion, is Jodie Foster. She has a whole career, including 2 Best Actress victories for The Silence of the Lambs and The Accused, and she won both of those before she turned 30. Now at 61, Jodie Foster returned to a supporting role as Bonnie Stoll, the best friend and coach to Olympic swimmer Diana Nyad, played by Annette Bening. And yes, it was amazing. The dynamic between the two of them was one of the best things to watch unfold on screen. Now for Best Picture, we have American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Out of all these movies, I think the most slept on this year's will be Anatomy of a Fall. This, along with The Zone of Interest and Past Lives, gave us a time capsule cinema experience, and it proved that foreign language films more than deserve their place in the Best Picture lineup. And no, they don't actually get enough praise. Just think about the fact that Parasite, the explosive South Korean family drama that took gold in 2020, is the first and only non-English language film to win Best Picture in the Academy's 96-year history. And don't expect things to change. The winner of the Best Picture Oscar has been in the cards since the nominations were released on January 23rd. And clearly, the winner is going to be Oppenheimer. I mean, come on. Great movie, and yes, it does deserve to win. Christopher Nolan recently went on the Countdown podcast and reflected on the record-breaking box office success for his movie, which earned $958 million worldwide, went on to become the highest-grossing biographical drama in film history. Those box office numbers are more or less unheard of for an incredibly dense 3-hour R-rated historical drama. So let's see what'll happen at this year's awards. Last year's was also kind of a crazy one because something always happens when celebrities are caught on camera for such a long time. There was a bit of controversy surrounding Angela Bassett, who went viral for refusing to hide her disappointed reaction when she lost to Jamie Lee Curtis. The two women were both nominated for Best Supporting Actress that night. Jamie Lee won the award for her performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She looked totally shocked when her name was announced, and she gave a heartwarming speech on stage. But as the crowd erupted into applause, the camera picked up Angela's reaction, and it was more than obvious that she was devastated about missing out. She remained sitting and didn't immediately clap or even smile. That moment has since garnered widespread attention online, and it ended up reopening the conversation about the lack of diversity at the Academy Awards. First of all, there was a reason fans were rooting for Angela to win. She was nominated for a role as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. She played the grieving mother of the Marvel hero T'Challa, which was even more difficult for her given that she was grieving the real-life death of her co-star Chadwick Boseman. There was a lot of layers to that, but she was somehow able to perfectly channel all that raw emotion into her performance. Apart from that, Angela made history when she became the first actor from the MCU to win a Golden Globe for her performance in the film. That's just how good it was. If you didn't know, award ceremonies don't usually let Marvel movies slip in with the other films because they're just not regarded in the same way. The Oscars are no different. So it's no surprise that no actor has been nominated for their role in a Marvel film. That's why it was such an achievement for Angela Bassett to be up for Best Supporting Actress. For this reason, many people argued that her visible disappointment at losing was totally justified. So really, the fact that she was upset was about so much more than just being snubbed. The internet seems to be a little divided over the reaction though. Some people said that she came off as rude and she should have shown some grace even in the face of losing. In response to the backlash, they argued that a superhero movie was never going to win an Oscar anyway. But most of the internet was clearly rooting for Angela, and so they rallied behind her in support. One user wrote, "The Academy is so nasty. Like first you rob Chadwick Boseman after his death, and then you rob Angela Bassett of her Oscar that she was nominated for in a movie that honors Chadwick. Every member of the Academy has a permanent spot in hell." Another person wrote, "Angela Bassett played a grieving mother. Stephanie Sue played a queer, multi-dimensional daughter. I don't know what the F Jamie did in Everything Everywhere." Another person wrote, "Mrs. Bassett's performance physically shook me in the theater. She might not have won the trophy, but she has the crown." While people are still arguing about that moment, it's worth noting that another one of the nominees, Kerry Condon, had a similar reaction. But of course, she didn't receive the same heap of backlash, which definitely says a lot. As for the lack of diversity at the Oscars, it's something that even Jimmy Kimmel pointed out during his opening monologue, when he said, "How does the Academy not nominate the guy who directed Avatar? What do they think he is, a woman?" That was pretty funny, but it goes to show you that literally everyone is talking about the issue now. And there's no denying that historically, women and people of color have consistently been overlooked for major awards for many years. They've definitely made progress in recent years when it comes to representation, especially with things like the #OscarsSoWhite campaign that took place about 8 years ago. But there is still a long way to go when it comes to change in the industry, and that's part of the reason why fans were just so outraged by the Angela Bassett story. So do you guys think this year will be any different? Please let me know what your predictions are in the comments below, and I'll catch you all in the next video.